our first presenter. And I can already see my nerves wrecking here, right? It's an absolute pleasure to introduce this wonderful presenter. So, distinguished Toastmaster Bharathi Shevgoor has been in the Toastmasters movement for nearly 2 decades now. And she really can't remember a time when she was not a Toastmaster. She also is a soft skills trainer for about 17 years now, and she trains different sections of the society in communication and leadership skills. She's also served as an English lecturer in the St. Aloysius College, Mangalore. And when she next decided that she wanted to be a writer, she's currently at a PR institution where she mainly writes coffee table books and directs videos. Now she's trying to bring her head around to do some research for her own PhD and hopes to come out of it in one piece. Here's our first presenter talking about how to conduct variety meetings. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Bharathi Shevgoor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Samarth, for embellishing that biodata that I gave you. Thank you for that. Good evening, everybody. The trio, Sudash, Vanita, many others who have been in the movement for many years, newbies, and some who are in between. Very happy to be here with you. I've been in the movement for almost 2 decades, as Samarth has already informed you. Sometimes people ask me, why are you, like, they don't ask me directly, but they do want, I can see that question on their faces, not Toastmasters, others. You're still there in Toastmasters, almost 20 years, or you're still there, that still word is always there. I really don't give them an elongated explanation of why I'm there. I say I'm happy to be there. You know, the earnestness and desire to learn, as well as the humility that this movement will imbues you with, is something that we don't get elsewhere. You know, humility is not a switch, you can't put it on. It has to permeate, and it will permeate when you are, let's say, 2 decades old in the movement, and somebody, a newbie, comes up and tells you, see, in this speech you should have done it this way. I think you can improve it here. Yes, humility sits well with us in Toastmasters. That's something we don't learn anywhere else. I've always said this to people. So, dear friends, coming to the topic, holding variety meetings. What I mentioned to you here may not be anything new. You may not have a eureka moment. Oh, this is something wonderful. I never thought of it. I don't know if that can happen, because all of us have given thought to holding variety meetings. So what I have done is I have put together a bunch of thoughts on the topic, which I will present to you. And I hope that their coming together will create the magic that I hope it will. Because sometimes we have disparate thoughts in different directions. Their coming together is what brings it together. So looking at why we need variety, I guess we have to remember that we are in a movement that is almost a century old, almost 1924, that makes it a 98-year-old institution. And this has its own structures, right? Though the demand for learning to communicate from a days and the demand for leadership has not gone down. If anything, it has only increased. Yet, I guess we have to remember that the world was different then. And technology has changed, and how it has changed in the last 20 years, in the last 10 years, the last 5 years, and in the last 2 years, and maybe in the last 2 months. I don't know. Apple is releasing its new phone in the last, maybe a few days ago. It's all technology. Our values, what we believed is important, what we thought is not important, these itself change. Because of IT, our attention spans have gone for a toss. The availability of content online has ensured that unless you are there with your finger on the button, you're going to be stagnant. That is why variety. Well, I'm not saying change the structure entirely. I'm not saying take the structure and throw it under the bus. No, that's not what I mean to do. I'm just saying, I guess it is time that we innovate, we redo, we redefine, we rejuvenate, call it what you will. All right, with these thoughts in mind, let me share my screen for my PPT. Yes. All right, how to conduct variety meetings. When I looked at this word variety, dear friends, I hope my screen is visible. Can I get a yes? Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. So when I looked at this word variety, I wondered about the significance of it in human life. Is it really a necessity? Or is it something, is it just a fancy? It's just a desire? And then I discovered, to my surprise, that one writer of significance has considered it to be one among the 6 basic human needs. 6 basic human needs, mind you. Let me move on to my next screen and show you what Tony Robbins has told us, that the 6 basic human needs, I just outlined them just for a look-see. I'm not going to, stay on this slide for a long time. Certainty, variety, significance, connection, growth, and contribution. Of course, he has taken off from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yet, you will notice that variety is only second after certainty. Certainty, of course, is constancy, like rituals. We all need a certain amount of constancy in our lives to know that God is in his high heaven if God is a male, or God is in her high heaven if it is a female. And if there are both of them, they are in their high heaven and all is right with the world. We need constancy, like home. But then he says, we also need variety. And variety is not the opposite of certainty. There are 2 sides of the same coin, he says. When there's too much certainty, the mind gets numbed a bit and we go into our comfort zone and there's a lack of creativity there. So then we yearn for variety. But when there's too much variety, we yearn for certainty, is what he says. And of course, the others are significant. We want to feel that we are important there's a sense of importance that we carry with us. We like to function with a sense of importance, and we all of us want connections, what Maslow spoke of as needs of love, and growth and contribution. I guess he has put both of them in the last of Maslow, self-actualization, when he says, all of us want to grow. We want to know that today I'm a better, I know more things, or I'm a better person than I was yesterday. And the last one, I found it significant. Am I useful to the world? Am I useful to at least somebody? How useful am I? Is my contribution here, is what he asks. So when I looked at these things, what struck me, dear friends, was, do you realize that all these, what he put as 6 basic human needs, are needs that are satisfied by the movement of which we are members, Toastmaster? That was my eureka moment for me when I thought of variety. So as I like to say, when I speak of variety, there is a need for certainty in our lives. You would think uncertainty is bad, but we do need a little bit, a tad bit of uncertainty. What's going to happen tomorrow, today, and in the next minute? And we have to have room for spontaneity in our lives too, where nothing is always written down like this. And we have to be creative and on our toes, bring out the ideas and action on the spot. So how to inject this spontaneity in our lives is in Toastmasters is what we have to look at, because we do need, as I said, a certain level of unpredictability. So we tap into the childlike innocence that all of us have in plenty. It's like, how our birthday celebrated these days? Surprise! Though these days I tell my Friends, don't give me surprises. I'm wary of surprise. I'd rather know what is there in store for me. I mean, that's an aside, but all of us have this childlike innocence. So, dear friends, I would like to, I have put together a few strategies, methods, and techniques of how we can have variety meetings and infuse our meetings with this vitamin C, vitamin of creativity. Vitamin C, not as in the chemical vitamin C, but the chemical that we need, creativity. And I'm going to start with the smallest of things, which we think is smallest. I'm not sure it is smallest, but I have thought it is the most minor, smallest things. So I have started with a different room layout if you want to infuse your meetings with creativity. It looks like it is very minor. What is so big about having a different layout here? But then you would be surprised. They say that the last thing we want to do is change our seating. You know that all of us have, I guess all of us have a particular room at a particular seat at the dining table, a particular place at the dining table, and we invariably go and seat ourselves there. All of us do that. Why? Will we not enjoy the food if we are at a different seat? But no, we will go there. So even at Toastmasters meetings, dear friend, they become so predictable that you can picturize who's going to sit where at your Toastmasters meeting. I know that even as I'm speaking to you now, you are envisaging your room and you know this one's there, that one's there, that one's there. A little change may happen, with every year, but the constancy is always there. So sometimes just have a different room layout. Have a chevron, a inverted chevron shaped room, sometimes a semicircular room. I don't know what you will do. And sometimes it may be difficult for you to change it. What I'm saying is, if you can, and it is within your control to do it, do that, because it is nice to enter a room where members will just, there's just going to be an O. But remember that O has a value when people enter. What is the message that we give when we change the layout of the room? It is that somebody has taken the pains to shift the furniture so that it looks different. Somebody could be the TMOD, it could be the president, or it could be the poor sergeant at arms who is always lifting chairs. So somebody has taken pains to do this. And when people take pains to do something for us, there is that respect that we feel for ourselves. I am worth this, that somebody has done this. So it's a small thing, but let's see if we can infuse a little bit of change by a different room layout itself. Let me move on here to a totally impromptu meeting. Now, what could this be? I would say that it's a planned impromptu. When I say planned impromptu, I mean that at least you have to have the names of the people in slips or in some system that you have. People come and pick the roles that they have to take that day. Somebody becomes sergeant at arms, somebody becomes a speaker, somebody becomes an evaluator, a timer. Everybody is told only at the beginning of the meeting what they are. Now, the issue comes only with the speaker here. So tell your members, we're going to have a totally impromptu meeting, which means, what does it mean? What is the significance of it for us? You might turn out to be the speaker. So get ready with a 7-minute speech, some idea. See, we can make it a totally table topic session. That is all right. But sometimes people might want to have pathway speeches, which they can upload. It's not fair to take away that from people who might need that for certain things. Your VP Ed might have a requirement. You might have a requirement. So we tell people, come ready with a speech that you'll probably give, your next speech or whichever it is. So that is the only thing you have to do. Imagine how exciting it is to know what is it I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to be the G. what is happening, who are the other speakers, who are the evaluators. There's going to be a buzz in the room, dear friends, and it is this buzz that you want to create. See, we can't have big changes overnight, but do you agree that there can be infinitesimal changes that like drip irrigation, that we infuse into our meetings? And when the members know that these sort of things are happening, I guess it becomes a collection of thoughts that tells them, yeah, somebody is doing things to make it interesting. So let's see what we can contribute to. So this is what I would say as a totally impromptu meeting. Let me move on from here. And there are 3 ideas here that I have put. As I said, nothing new. You might have had these. I've only put them together. A panel discussion. Come up with a topic which is topical. In my city, there are many topical topics. The topical topic in my city at the moment is, we have planned to be a smart city. I mean, the citizens haven't planned, the administrators have planned. The city is far from being smart. So what are your thoughts about Mangaluru becoming a smart city? Are the roads up for it? Are the shops up for it? Are the people up for it? All these things. You can divide your topic into, you know what a panel discussion is. The topic is divided into various aspects, and each speaker does not go into the other person's area, though you can support the previous speaker. You don't speak against the previous speaker. And then, of course, it is let open for a question and answer session. There are people who may never have participated in a panel discussion. We don't get opportunities many times. All don't get, believe me. So you provide this opportunity in your, and there is also, I think, a pathway speech project which asks for a panel discussion. If one of them, if I remember right, says panel discussion. So you do it. It's very exciting for the ones who are planning it and for the ones who are participating in it. No doubt about that. I would ask you to have a panel discussion, and don't spare them in the question answer session. Let them, feel the heat under their chairs. This is what the panel discussion is for, not to make them feel, study a speech for 3 minutes and give it. That you will do anyway. Fire your questions at them afterwards. Don't spare them. And then I've put debate. All of us know that in school, maybe we participated in debates, but how many debates have we participated in? Parliamentary debates where we are focused on the rebuttal, on the presentation, and on bringing the thoughts together. We may not have done it if there are no opportunities at the workplace, or we are not members of other institutions where debates take place. Hot debates take place on topics, but they are not planned debates. The one with the loudest voice sometimes gets to speak. So that's not a debate. Now have a planned debate. In Mangaluru, we have a club called Let's Debate Club. Hats off to them. Their main agenda is having a debate that is organized, which goes according to a certain schedule. But they also have, of course, pathway speeches, because you have to have your planned speeches, and you have to have an evaluation and things like that. And the DCP points are there. There are certain other issues that are needed to be looked after for the VP8, for the AD, and for the division director, and of course for all involved thereafter. So a debate is something you can do. Believe me, a debate is not easy to organize. When I say not easy, it's not simple to organize. You have to know what to have as the debating topic. You have to know how the balancing act has to be there on the pro and opposite sides. And there are several things like these. Those who have conducted debates will agree with me when they say those who are conducting the debate are sometimes more tensed up than those who are participating in the debate. They will speak, but these people have to be careful. And then, of course, the third topic, nothing new, but I feel that many times we don't invite guest speakers at our meetings. There are so many requirements of a normal Toastmasters meeting itself. by this time. So we have to have these speakers, we have to have these points by this time. And there are people who say, we don't get chances to speak in table topics. In very large clubs, you'll be surprised. I have heard people saying, in the last 1 year, I have not spoken at table topics at all. I don't know if there are such large clubs now, but many years ago, we used to have clubs with 50, 60 members, and it happens that we don't get chance. So we don't invite guest speakers. And when I say guest speaker, I'm not referring to a guest toastmaster, no, who will give a planned speech for 7 minutes. I'm speaking of what we refer to as infotainment many times. You call a lawyer to tell you something about some point of law. You may call a doctor, or you may call a chartered accountant to tell you something. 10 minutes for this person as a guest speaker. Nothing to do with Toastmasters at all. Everything connected to being an informed Toastmaster after this guest speaker has spoken. So this is another thing that we can think of. The only problem is at Toastmasters, we are used to our green, yellow, and the red flag. These guest speakers may not be, used to seeing the flag. One guest speaker was maha annoyed because I said, we are going to have flags. What? Flags for me? I am known as a speaker. I mean, he didn't say that. It was a he. He didn't say that to me, that I am a famed speaker in Mangaluru. But that look was there on his face. You're holding a flag for me. People can feel offended. These are some very, very quixotic things connected to Toastmasters. We get used to it. They're not used to it. So be careful. Ask them to make friends with the flags. All right. Let me now move on to the next one. Oh, the table topic session. Table topics 2.0. I guess this is one place that all of us try to infuse with creativity. We try to stimulate the thoughts of members by giving. The session itself is meant for that. And we do try to be. I have, dear friends, given you only, let's say, a few sessions or thoughts on this. There are many, many other things. Let me just move into what I have put together. This treasure hunt is very popular in table topics. What you have to do, there are many ways you can have a treasure hunt. One of them is the table topic speaker is told that your topic is stuck under the chair of one of the members here. And then what happens? All the members get up and look under the chair to see what it is. That movement itself is what we are looking for. That table topic speaker gets the table topic. Like any other time. But what have you done? You've made all the members who would have been comfortably settled in their chairs get up and peep under the chair. So that's one chair. Or your table topic has been dropped put in a small box and dropped in the bags of one of the members. All the members open their bags to see where is the strange box. Somehow you have managed to, put a box in one of the members' bags. A dangerous thing to do, but there you are. What is life if we don't live on the edge of danger, at least for Toastmasters? So a treasure hunt is like that. The table topic speakers chase the table topics. It could be anywhere. The topics could be placed anywhere. And of course, story builder. Story builder is like, how it is. Sometimes we have story builder as a team for all members. Sometimes we divide members into teams of 3 or 4, and you give one line to one member and then ask that member to speak for 45 seconds. After some time, you give another line to another member, ask that member to speak for 45 and then 1 minute. I will tell you of an interesting story builder session I had this Saturday. And then let me move on. I move on to improv. We would think improv is not everybody's cup of kashaya. But then if it was everybody's, comfort zone, why would we practice it in Toastmasters? If you have not participated in an improv, please do. An improv is something like, there is a topic, there is a concept given to a team of 3. They have to speak on the concept, one or two sentences, pass on to the next one, and try to infuse humor in it. One or two sentences, speaker 2 speaks, and then passes it on to speaker 3. They go around the topic for, 1.5 to 2 minutes. That's it, for whatever time you want the table topics to last. I mean, you can have it as a regular table topic timing, or you can give your own timing. And of course, something like salesman, bring a bag full of things. All of us are salesmen, I guess, when we go out of, when you attend meetings where you want to sell Toastmasters, all of us at some time or another so attempted to sell Toastmasters outside our club. That's what we have done. 18 years down the line, I have tried my best to be a wonderful salesman, which I'm not. I'm not a wonderful salesman. I don't know how many people are. I have been convinced that Toastmaster is a wonderful institution after my salesman pitch. But I guess they might be influenced by the way I speak or by whatever else I say. But by my pitch, I'm not very sure. But you could try to be a salesman, sell a scooter, sell your office building, sell your college if you are a college student, sell your vice principal or your principal. The topic is that you're putting your principal up for a bid, sell. How happy I would have been as a student if I was told that I didn't get that topic, but I have given that topic to others, and I have seen that gleam of mischief in their eyes. Young student, when I say, sell your principal. Oh, yes, ma'am, ready, I will. Okay, so that's it. So I was telling you, dear friends, this story builder topic that I had given to a club where I had taken up table topics. I asked 3 of them to come up. The first topic that I gave was, I find it very difficult to talk about sex. And I had asked 3 people who were quite all right at speaking table topics. And this fellow, smart fellow, he said, yes, isn't it very difficult to talk about sex? And he switched to, you won't believe, Osho. Osho is a person who has spoken about sex. He has influenced people about thoughts about sex, and it was all Osho. It was fine. 45 seconds for him, done. I gave the topic to the second one. You will guess what it is. Speaking about sex is difficult, but speaking about religion is even more difficult. That was my second topic. And the fellow was so enthusiastic about saying how difficult it is to speak about religion. He didn't speak about any religion. He spoke about how difficult it was. It came from within. He was a youngster, maybe 22 years. And the first person was, maybe 20 years plus, 22 years. Okay. And the third person I gave, I know you will guess now what it would have been. It's difficult to speak about sex. It's difficult to speak about religion. But the most difficult is to speak about politics. How difficult it is. She looked at me very accusingly. And then I told her, I'm not asking you to speak about politics. I'm saying it is difficult to speak. Okay. Yeah, and then it went on. So why do I bring this up, dear friends? I bring this up merely to say that the taboos that you would have heard, sex, politics, religion, they are from this grapevine that has been handed down from one sergeant at arms to the other, till it has become like a song for every Toastmaster. The Toastmasters movement does not forbid us from speaking about these 3 topics, no, but it asks us to be mindful of the diversity. And it asks us to practice practice sensitivity and good taste. I mean, good taste is subjective, but that is what they have asked. Good taste in the choosing of the topic and the content and the language. So this is how we grow, right? If we are, as I told somebody recently, if we are living in a sanitized world where certain topics are not allowed to be broached, then I guess that growth is not really there. I remember speaking to somebody many years back, more than a decade ago. These days I speak in decades. I don't speak in years. Terrible thing to do, but that's what it is. He was not a Toastmaster. Some uncle, okay, one relative of mine. Okay, what do you do in Toastmasters? Okay, we give speeches. You give, oh, that's difficult, right? Sometimes the people may not be happy with some topic that you've chosen. It's not very simple. I said, there are 3 topics that we are not supposed to speak. Oh, then I told him, these are the 3 topics we're not supposed to speak. That was what, was my understanding those many years back. He said, these 3 topics are not supposed to speak. Then what are you going to speak? They're such an important part of life. I've not forgotten that exclamation of his. I don't remember what I said to him as a response, but that is it. So I just mentioned these taboos of the grapevine. There are no taboos, but of course, we have to exercise mindfulness of the diversity. But every club, if you are of such a mind to have certain topics that you don't want to in your club, you are free to have your own charter for your club, articles of association for your club. We don't speak of these in our club. You find that Toastmasters movement also tells us that you can do it for your club. All right. Let me move on from here. I go on to the next. I know it's a little cluttered, but all right. Themed wonders. All of us do have themes for our meeting, no doubt about it at all. So I've just put 3 themes, just to, give us a sort of a thought about what we can do. We have done things like, if you're looking at the columns now, the first 3 columns only, Bollywood, Independence Day, and TV News Hour. Bollywood, I think, is very common. I don't need to speak about it. Ask if you're having a theme as Bollywood Awards Night, let your speeches be acceptance speeches, 2 acceptance speeches. You've received the award for the best villain. I mean, best hero is not very interesting. Best villain is interesting. And so something else, best sidekick, there's nothing like sidekick, but you can have these things. Come in costumes, not fully in costume. Let one accessory be there. Give social speeches, give a vote of thanks for somebody, give an obituary, not an obituary, a speech where, some actor has passed away. So we stand, all right, the red flag is up for me. I didn't see the green flag. Oh God, okay. So Independence Day and TV News Hour. Make TV News Hour very interesting, where you have celebrity panelists and you have evaluators who are panelists with a contrarian view. None of us needs to be Arnab Goswami. We don't need to be that. The TMOD is the presenter, and the table topic speakers are lay persons who given their 2 bits at some point and give the functionaries titles. But what I want to say to you, dear friends, is let the themed meeting be in sync. I have seen meetings, I've been a part of meetings where there is a theme, but nobody is bothered to be in sync with the theme. The table topics are not synchronized with the theme. The word of the day is not. You have the TMOD giving us snippets of the theme in between speeches. It again becomes a routine. So I think as we have themes, you have to get your act together by asking people to be in sync with the theme. You can have travel as a theme. You can have a truth or dare theme, or you can have solving murder puzzles as a theme. There is no end to the creativity that we can have. And then, of course, there is this, let's review, a book, a play, a movie. Dear Toastmasters, how long is it since you have read a book fully? It's been a while. Now I am forced to read because I have to do my research for my PhD. Even there, I don't read the full book. I sort of, glance through certain things, what I want. So, but some of us do read books. Some of us are good enough to read books. So come and give a book review at your next meeting. Ask your president, ask your VP, I want to give a book review. If you've seen a play, if you're fortunate enough to be in a city where there are plays, Bangalore is a city where there are a lot of plays, come and give a review there. And We see a lot of movies. I don't think there's anyone, there may not be, I hope there isn't anyone who doesn't watch movies. Come and give your review of a movie. How interesting it's going to be for your members if you say, I'm going to give a review of a movie. That is the element of creativity that you infuse into your meeting. And these things, of course, we are, yeah. Speech marathon. I don't know how many of you will say, speech marathon, they're not interesting, let us not have. But then once in a while, having a speech marathon can become interesting because the topics can be different. And remember, no evaluations, only written evaluations. Speech marathons are the no table topics, sadly, but speech marathons are a thing many times, and many people do enjoy speech marathon. And tall tales, of course, we do enjoy tall tales. I understand that we don't have a tall tale contest this year at the conference. Our PQD was kind enough to tell me that when I inquired. But this does not stop you from having a tall tale contest or just a meeting for tall tales. What prevents us? Just because there's no contest there at the conference, we need not do that. All right, so do have a tall tales meeting once in a while and ask your members to unleash their creativity on you. I use the word unleash carefully. All right, and then I now come to my almost last slide, that is the screen presence. Why do I say screen presence? Many of you have only online meetings. I am fortunate to be in a city, a small city where our meetings have now started again to be in-person meetings, but not all meetings of the district are in person. Dear Toastmasters, if yours is an online meeting, understand that you have one of the biggest benefit. You have a screen, which an in-person meeting doesn't have. So it behoves you to prepare videos, images, and come up with data also. Sometimes you want to give a speech with data, but you know when there is no screen, giving a speech with data is difficult at the best of time. But when you have a screen, you can do it. Please do that. I would implore you to do it because many of us do enjoy speeches which have a little bit of data and data analysis. Have an online scavenger hunt. Many of you would probably be doing it, where you ask people to go online and bring stuff and things like that. So these are only some ideas that I would ask you to do if you are doing online meetings. And my final appeal to you, if you have online meetings, is should you be able to have in-person meetings, please go for them, because there is this thing called online fatigue that can happen with Toastmasters. I know for a fact that it can seep in. So if you can have an offline meeting, I won't say offline, why should I make line the focus of reference? If you can have an in-person meeting, even with a few members, do have them. It takes a lot of effort, but then I know that offline meetings are worth it. And that is why do go for an offline meeting. So this is my final slide for you. When I say variety, dear friends, let it not be merely window dressing. No clubs can survive on just an infusion of some fancy something once in a while. Unless we grow, unless we change for the better, we will not be able to hold this interest that we have in Toastmasters. We have to read more, we have to listen more, and believe me, you have to write. I used to be a reader, I still am, I still listen, but I realized that my language and my thoughts got refined only after I started writing. It is writing that is the thing, not reading and listening. I will say it with conviction. Write something, write a few lines, write a blog. I don't know what you will write. There are enough number of outlets open to us. Outlet is not the right word. Opportunities open. So do write more, dear friends. And when I say variety, it's just a sense of adventure that you are asking your members to enter. Have a balance between structure and novelty, and put in effort, because no creativity is ever fully spontaneous. It's like the swan in the lake. You can see from above everything is going very smoothly, but underneath you're paddling furiously to infuse creativity. I will end with something that Amir Khan said. I listened to it yesterday evening. He said, I'm not, he's always asked the question, why are you the perfectionist? How do you manage to make such, wonderful movies, etc.? He said, see, I'm not a great actor. I'm not a gifted actor. I have to work like a donkey if I have to bring out some creativity from within me. I'm not, he gave the name of Nasiruddin Shah. I'm not Nasir. Nasir will give a take like this. Never has he spoiled a take. But I have spoiled hundreds of take and I've become a headache for my directors. I'm not gifted. So I have to work. So my point is, there are very few of us who are truly gifted. We have to work at it. So unless we work, it will not happen. So this is my appeal to you. So let me end, dear Toastmasters, by saying, never let the chords of routine dull the melody of our romance with Toastmasters. Thank you, and over to you. Let me stop sharing screen here. Over to you, Samarth, for, I don't know if there's time for a question answer session, whatever.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Bharathi, ma'am. I must say, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this Thursday evening. I never expected it to be so memorable. It really felt like you were like a dear friend sitting and explain to a VP, how could you really help on in doing the meetings better? And how could you be more spontaneous? How could you be more creative to your meetings? Like, it just really felt like that you were just sitting here and then just casually explaining what you could do more differently than what the VP is doing. I must say it was thoroughly a very enjoyable session, and I must say every one point of yours, I think, really gave us that eureka moment. That we might have heard of it, we might have even done a little bit of brainstorming, but when you actually asked us how we could execute it, I think that's where we really enjoyed listening to you like a dear friend. So thank you so much for this very memorable Thursday evening session that you delivered in front of all of us.
Welcome, Samarth.
All right, so we'll just take about 5 minutes of questions because we don't have a lot of time for Q&A. We will take 5 minutes of question answers. So in case anybody wants to ask a question, please just raise your hand. We will take notice and then we will give you permission to unmute. Otherwise, we will drop you our email ID. You can give your questions to us. We will have it answered to you as soon as possible. So if anybody has any questions to Bharathi ma'am, we're more than happy to guide you. All right, we already have our first person. So Bharathi ma'am, we have Toastmaster Kavya, who will be asking your question now. Yes, Kavya.
Thank you so much. I wanted to know, DTM Bharathi, like how often is it recommended or how often are we allowed to conduct variety meetings?
See, when I say variety meetings, it doesn't mean that the usual things are not there. Remember, I spoke about Let's Debate. There's a Toastmasters Club in Mangalore. They have one section for debate. That's there. But they also have prepared speeches. So variety is something you infuse, Kavya.
Okay.
You can have it at every meeting. What are the objectives of the VPA? They want the DCP points. And the president might want, desire for some awards, etc. What do the members want? They want variety. So factor all that in. Nobody stops us from having variety at all. So as I said, have a balance between constancy and variety. There's no limit to variety. We can always have. We have a member in our club, DTM Malini Hebbar. Whenever you give her, let's say, even a table topic, she will ensure that it's not just something picked from a basket. There will be something. Don't ask me what, there will be something. So we learn from that. So the session is there. It's done differently. It is how you have the session. As I said, even small issues, lift your chair and check. All right, even that is good enough for me to put me on alert. So there's no limit to that. That's my answer to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, that clarifies. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Kavya. We have Toastmaster Abdul from Electronic City Toastmasters. Abdul, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sambarth. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bharathi, for the session. It was amazing. I have had many eureka moments, I must say. Thank you very much for that. Now, the whole session, right? The whole session, we discussed about various aspects. Now, as per my view, all the topics which were discussed was what should happen within the meeting room when people have arrived in the meeting room. Now, could you help us understand how a VPE should work in order to bring people to the meeting room? We always face this challenge that I'm on vacation next week. I'm not attending. I have some function, right? Could you give us some tips, because this is the main challenge I'm facing?
Yes. Would you have a meeting, an official meeting, let's say, where you discuss only what do you want, members? Are you happy with the speeches? Are you happy with the way your evaluations are going on? There is something called moments of truth, but there is a formality in that. There is a structure to be observed. You have to sit them down and ask what are the things that are happening. You can only be sincere and ask them their opinions of it. How we you can't pick somebody from another city and bring them back. No, but should I have a chance to decide, do I go for my meeting or do I go here? Many times I have decided I'll go for my meeting. That is because of the chords of creativity that are there. I have seen people putting in effort. A decision not to attend a meeting may not be because the member doesn't want to, because there are priorities. Now, how we help for our side of the weighing scale to go down, not up, to weigh heavily is, have we done things that the member has been happy about? It could be creative. It could be a particular member not getting chances at all to speak. See, these are things that happen over a period of time, dear Abdul, right? Toastmaster? Yeah.
Yes.
Toastmaster Abdul. It is a cumulative impact. It doesn't happen with one meeting. So you have to keep selling your meeting. How do I say selling your meeting? The posters and something else, and then something else, and somebody else chiming in. I know it is tough. It is not easy. And we joined when we did not have any other, let's say, outlets for expressing ourselves. These days, it's a little different. You will just have to work harder to make your meetings interesting. If that happens, the priority will be my uncle's brother-in-law's sister's wedding or my Toastmaster meeting. Okay, Toastmaster. That's all I can say.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. I would say that I should start by getting to know what people exactly want, and from there I'll start working on it.
Go deeper than the surface level requirements that you are needed to do as VPE.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abdul. And the last question we're taking for today, for the particular session, is from Pramukha. Pramukha, if you'd like to unmute and pose your question, please.
Thank you, Sambarth, and thank you, Bharathi ma'am, for giving a useful session and education session. There are many things which I learned as I'm a new committee member for the my club, and there are many things. What I feel when I see that we sometimes make an impromptu speech as a team, so that people come and have a normal conversation, like normal impromptu speech. So there are some people who are scared of speaking for a minute. So what do you suggest, like how to overcome those fear?
Okay, I'll just make it short. Fear of speaking is common. And if they are new members, they will not come up even for table topics. Have a question answer session. Ask them a question. People will always have answers to questions. Whereas if you are just giving a topic, they might think they have to speak some elite thoughts about it. Some very knowledgeable things have to come up. No, That's not it. So have a question, ask them if they have a joke to narrate. Ask them very specific questions. Do you enjoy idli or dosa? Why do you enjoy idli or dosa? If say idli, why idli? Which idli? Rava idli or normal idli? So I'm just saying, make it easy for them to give an answer. And that challenge is yours. It's not simple to be creative. As I said, it won't, we are not born like that. We're not gifted like that. Push yourself to be creative, push. And all the time thinking on behalf of the other person for the other person's good, which may not be recognized as well. You may not get any recognition for it, but you will grow because of that. That's all I can say. I hope I've answered your question. Have different strategies.